An American army is fighting for you.
1941, a date which will live.
Note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima.
These forces met their mark.
We have declared the war in Vietnam.
But we don't plan to surrender either. We are going to win.
Proportions and would lead to World War II.
Allied air forces began an attack on military targets.
Decide that in the 21st century that America...
March 5th, 2052, the United States has officially closed.
The United States will go ahead with a national quarantine. The new plague virus.
Disaster sweeping the stands, the collapse of the United Nations.
Right here, pull over. All right, ain't nothing in there.
War never changes. It was the inevitable result of the path humanity had chosen. Everyone who entered into the conflict expected victory. Everyone was optimistic. But as the hostilities escalated, optimism faded, and society began to collapse. The great vaults were built to house the wealthy, the powerful, the influential, and those deemed necessary to their survival. Inside, resources and technology were stockpiled, a final defense against the coming Holocaust. With the past behind them and the present destroyed, they looked to the future. The sturdy Vault Zero was to be the nucleus of the Vault network, housing the greatest leaders, artists, and scientists. The inhabitants of Vault Zero were to reunite the vaults and lead the people to a new life, a new world. But after the bombs, the world would be a harsh one. To ensure the creation of a post-nuclear utopia, the Vault dwellers would need help. Machinery was constructed to tame a land hardened by the ravages of war, then tempered by nuclear winter. But plans were barely in place when the first missiles left the silos. During the destruction, communication between the vaults ceased. Entire vaults were lost. Those that survived were on their own. Not all vaults succumbed to the machinations of war. On North America's west coast, one group of military vault dwellers emerged almost unscathed. They surveyed the wasteland and squared their shoulders for the task ahead. These dedicated survivors salvaged the technology from the vaults, technology that was studied, replicated, and fiercely guarded. For they knew that while their power came from numbers, their future lay in scientific knowledge. In time, they formed the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood used their knowledge to drive back the atrocities of the wasteland, proclaiming themselves the technological saviors of mankind. They scoured the land in search of more technology, raiding mutant camps, bandit towns, and the broken remains of other vaults. But even they could not keep pace with the high tolls demanded by life in the wasteland. The Brotherhood found themselves at odds with their need for new blood versus their code of technological secrecy. The debate was lengthy. Finally, the elders ruled against sharing the technology with outsiders, convinced that they would endure as they had before. Further discussion was discouraged, and the elders ordered the minority on a mission across the wastes. Super mutants, the foot soldiers of a conquered army, had been forced into a retreat across the mountainous barrier to the east. The Brotherhood constructed airships and dispatched the minority to track down and assess the extent of the remaining super mutant threat. But disaster struck while crossing the Great Mountains. A great storm gripped the main airship and flung its course. The mighty ship was badly damaged. The smaller sections were torn from the main craft, never to be seen again. Many of the expedition's leaders were lost to the winds. The fraction of the crew that still survived struggled to keep their ship aloft before finally crashing on the outskirts of a once thriving metropolis, a city once called Chicago. Broken, scattered, and scarred, they took stock of the situation and once again squared their shoulders to the task ahead. The Brotherhood had much to offer the surrounding villages. They traded advanced medicines in exchange for food and labor. They traded protection from bandits in exchange for new recruits. In time, their ranks began to swell. Separated by distance and ideology from the main Brotherhood forces, the minority was free to forge a new Brotherhood of Steel, one that reflected the ideals they had strived for all along. However, one's future in the wasteland is never certain, for an old power has awakened, also bent on making this land its own. Life in the Brotherhood is about to change.
Recruit! Attention! I am Paladin Ziskel. The elders have ordered me to mold you lizard-chasing, hut-dwelling, moon-worshipping savages into Brotherhood of Steel initiates. You are going to learn the basics of combat, followed by inventory management and other skills. First, let's talk about this miracle of technology which you are currently using. Let's get started, Recruit. During the mission, surroundings by using the cursor keys to scroll the viewing window. You can also use your mouse to scroll the window by holding Most weapons have more than one mode. For example, the SMG can be used in either single shot or burst mode. Click Done, and right-click on the SMG to change it. You can loot corpses to see if they contain any items of interest. Every character in the game has an inventory associated with them. Close this window. To make Rex move, you must left-click on the location you want him to move to. If you hold the Shift key down when you left-click, Rex will run to that location. Now move Rex to the Training Station 2 by left-clicking on the area of floor marked 02. The inventory window will list all the items that a character is currently carrying. In this tutorial, we demonstrate how to set up an ambush and draw. Start by selecting Strom and moving him into a position where he can carry out the ambush. He is armed with a submachine gun, which is an ideal short-range weapon for dispatching opponents. To get increased benefit, we will put him into a crouched stance and select the aggressive sentry mode. Next, select Doc and run him to a point which is far enough away from the dog so that he can avoid damage, but close enough to attract its attention. Now run away, Doc. Notice how effective the SMG is at close range. Now that you've seen an example of how a professional soldier would approach the problem, let's see how well you do. Click on Done to continue. Well done. But remember that in the field, your opponents will often be more resourceful and better armed.
Can hut. All right, you mutated redneck green-skinned sacks of irradiated flesh, listen up. I am Paladin Rychek. I am in charge of training you backward maggots in the art of war and survival. In my time in the Brotherhood, I have personally trained more than 50 initiates, and I am proud to say almost 14 of them are still alive and kicking. The elders have ordered me to mold you flabby, hip-slapping, berry-picking, rat-rubbing Brahmin kissers into capable warriors. And I am going to do it, even if it kills you. I will teach you how to eat, sleep, walk, talk, shoot, spit like a Brotherhood soldier. First level of training will be recruitment detail. You'll go to the surrounding villages and see what able-bodied primates are ready for an honest life's work. It is your duty to remind the village elders that if they want continued protection from the scum of this world, they will uphold their end of the bargain by providing resources and their best and brightest for Brotherhood training. Now get your weak-kneed, superstitious, soft-skinned, uneducated butts to the armory. You will be issued basic weapons and armor. There are 3 simple rules to follow with Brotherhood equipment. If you damage your weapon, you will spend a week in the box. If you damage your armor, you will spend a week in the box. If you lose either, I'll kill you myself. And one final thing, ladies. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Steel.
At ease, Initiate. My name is General Barnaky. I will be giving you your orders before every mission. But before that, I'd like to personally welcome you aboard. Considering that the Brotherhood basic training attrition rate is 85%,
Greetings to the Brotherhood of Steel. You are speaking with Charon, elder and tribal father to Brahmin Wood. You have arrived none too soon. Our village has fallen to raiders who rode out of the darkness. Some of my people escaped death or bondage by fleeing into the wasteland. But without tools and